I'm from Williamstown, Massachusetts, which is right on the border of New York State, which is 15 minutes away from my house is Hoosick Falls, where my cousins live, and this charming house that looks over this green, luscious valley. Growing up, this place was important to me because it was the place where my uncle proposed to my aunt. It was where we had our annual luau's when summer turned into fall, and it was the home to these apple trees that lined the driveway and have the best tasting, and they're really gnarly, but they're delicious. Most importantly, it's home to Judy, Everett, and their dog, River. Hoosick Falls was also the home to St. Gobain Plastics, a factory which later became responsible for poisoning of the town's water supply through PFOAs. PFOA is a chemical which is widely used in non-stick Teflon pans and pots and stain-resistant carpets. It leaked from the former St. Gobain factory and contaminated the water in Hoosick Falls, which residents use to clean and to cook and to drink. New York State Department conducted a limited study in 2017, which somehow concluded that there was not a statistically significant increase in cancers in the area. I would like them to say that to Judy, Everett, and their dog River, who within a year were all diagnosed with cancer. All of a sudden, this home that had given so much joy to our family is now the place that is responsible and has situated my cousins and their dog to suffer the physical, emotional, and financial burdens of cancer, and has brought my family and our community directly in the face of industry-made environmental dangers. Despite having their own 180-foot well and being miles away from the center of town, their water was contaminated. Growing up in a pretty environmentally conscious place, I remember when this happened, being confused but assured that people would be held accountable. Since then, the intersections between corporate greed and political complacency resulting in entirely preventable human-made environmental dangers has haunted me and our country. I read about Flint, where the politicians in power were directly responsible for poisoning an entire city. I read about fracking countrywide, which contaminated the water so much that people could literally light it on fire. And today I read about senators on the other coast who dismiss their youth constituents, reasoning that their record of incremental environmental policy, which they have enacted during decades in office, is enough and sufficient for now. Neal, your constituents, your youth, and your country need environmental steps to be taken that match the environmental urgencies of today. We're trying to do our part. If you want an example of growing youth commitment to environmental issues in your district, I'm a member of Yes Club at my school, where we work with administration and students to make our school more sustainable. Last year, we transitioned into a new school, and we have solar panels, and we even have those little electric things for the cars, and we transitioned from to metal silverware from plastic silverware, and we work with recycling. A couple of years ago, there was a handful of members, and now there are 50 in a school that is about 400. So that just shows the commitment that people have to environmental issues. But our recycling is important, but can only do so much. Neal, you have the power to make a statement by co-sponsoring the Green New Deal. Right now, you have the power. Being the last person in Massachusetts to co-sponsor, you have the power to make our state the first one to have full support of the resolution. My cousin's battle with cancer forced me to confront environmental dangers on a personal level and taught me firsthand how these dangers do not listen to borders and have pervasive effects on towns, communities, countries, and the world. Climate catastrophes don't respect state borders. It taught me that we need environmental gestures which are on a national level and unlike that of what we have done in the past, and attack climate change as an issue with undeniable social, economic, and environmental intersections. Your hesitation in co-sponsoring stems from a fear of losing committee positions or not having full support of your constituents. We're here, having driven an hour and a half to stand outside in this beautiful 20-degree weather to ask you to co-sponsor the Green New Deal because we are terrified. We're not just terrified because extreme weather across the country is no longer extreme, it is now expected. We're terrified because right now my cousins and their dog are suffering from cancer, and the same earth that produces those delicious green apples lining their driveway is laced with PFOA. The only way we can confront these larger-than-life environmental dangers is with something that is both ambitious and broad. Neal, you have the power, and your district, Facebook, and all of us and people in the future are watching and hoping you'll make the right decision. Yeah!